I'm Matt.
And I'm Jen. We're the Pipers.
Yeah, we're the Pipers.
Our group is a multi-generational group. So it's a group where people without kids, people with little kids, people with middle-aged kids, people with kids who have flown the coop, and even to the point of losing a spouse, so singles as well. So we really hit every dynamic. And we were in a group for probably 7 years or 8 years and loved it. But we were all the same age. And so I think we felt God calling us to be in a group that not only could we maybe mentor, but be mentored. And that was really helpful to see people who've gone before us, both in their faith and in being parents. That was super helpful. And I don't know if every group's like that, but I know that's one really interesting dynamic of ours.
Yeah, for that season of life, it was helpful to be with people that had kids the same age, going through all those same struggles, the same late nights, the same, am I doing this wrong when the kid's up all night screaming? What are you doing? But we had just kind of hit a point where it was there were times when it was and not a knock on it, but just that wisdom was kind of lacking, but just because we were all
on the same
equal
playing field. Yeah.
And so there's just a thing that is really, I don't know, I kind of feel just from God. I mean, if you look in the Bible, there's lots of multi-generationals, kind of communities. And that's kind of the point, is that that wisdom is passed down.
When you go to church on Sunday morning, you see people, and when you serve, you get to know people even better. So it almost becomes a second community group. But we know we don't have family really in town. And we know if anything happened to the boys, we could call anyone at our community group, and someone, probably 3 someones, would be at our door. And it's you're not on an island, and you're not just playing church on Sunday. It's your adopted family.
None of us individually are perfect, but when we come together, we, and I think that's true of churches. We are not individually perfect, but if we lean on each other and we lean on God and the promises that He gave us, we can at times achieve kind of a glimpse of perfection. My favorite part is that there are nights where it goes perfectly to plan, talk through the lesson, talk through the sermon, share some what's going on in your life. But then other nights, something will really be weighing on someone's mind and the plans just go to the side, because we all kind of sense this is what's needed right now. So it's been cool to watch that happen naturally, and Shane and Summer not be worried about sticking to the script. It's kind of letting the Spirit lead when there's moments where we just need each other. And it's sermon's important and that kind of stuff. But at times, just doing life together and sharing and being there for each other. And we'll just some nights pray for that one specific person and one specific issue. It's really cool to see.
In January, a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, we had been in the same community group, and it was somewhat disbarring. People were changing groups or moving, and we really felt called to go to a different group, and we didn't know what group. And we were 8 months pregnant, and this was a group that we had been with for our first child, and before kids, and through house fires and all of the things. And just really felt called to just listen. And I'm not very good at that. God has to hit me with a 2x4 and close a bunch of doors to get me to go the right way. And we both just really had that strong feeling when they talked about visiting a different campus. We were driving 20 minutes to High Point because we used to live out there, and Clifton was 8 minutes away. And a lot of my kids go to Clifton from my school. And so we kind of made the plunge, and our first group meeting, we were planned to have Everett in a week and a half. And we didn't know these people, and we showed up, and it was hey, by the way, we're having a baby. And Summer looked at me and was okay, we're gonna set up a meal train. What are your allergies? What are this and that and this? And I think within the first week, everyone showed up with diapers and food. And then I ended up having emergency surgery 2 weeks after Everett was born, because my gallbladder said, yep, time to be gone. and had complications from that. So I couldn't even like get up our steps in our house like 2 weeks after that surgery. So it was a good like month of mommy, the one who runs the house. Like it was a feat to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which I was determined to do because I'm a doer. And like I didn't need to worry about Everett, who was a month old, and Grayson, who was like 6. They just like showed up to strangers. I mean, we legitimately were strangers. We didn't know anyone in this group before.
If you feel like the group you're in isn't, I don't want to say like meeting your needs, you know, it's not like, you know, joining a country club that your needs are met. But at the same time, like if it's not giving you what you need in this season of life, it's okay to look for a group that meets more of the needs that you have. And that doesn't mean that you're never going to see the people from your old group again.
Yeah.
And so it just, you know, it's one of those where God can move those things around and you can still have those relationships. And so it was great for us to move, but we still were able to serve people from our old community group.
It's crazy how welcoming perfect strangers are when you walk into their house. So I would just say, just don't be nervous.
There were times where we started to drift a little bit in our marriage, you know, where we felt more like apathetic roommates, and being able to come here and admit that to people, and then being able to talk through, oh, like you've been through that too, and well, what did you do? And then like trying to apply some of it, like even just that feeling of like we're not the only ones, you know, we're not alone. We're not the only people that some days wake up and go, oh, it's you.
Andrew had a sermon about he had rocks, big rocks and little rocks in 2 jars, and talked about like if you put all those little things, you know, soccer practice and promotions and straight A's and all those little things that like are important but aren't the big things, if you put those in the jar first, those really important big things don't all fit. But when you take those big things and you really align with being in community, being in church, you put them in first, it's surprising you have room for all the other stuff still. Like it still works out. And I'm the first to be like, no, like, you know, my kid has to do these things. That's what we're supposed to do. And it'll work out.